Hello, this is Run the Numbers. My name is Jason, and the video that you're watching here on the Run the Numbers channel is in fact part of the Run the Numbers channel, but specifically it is part of the warm-up series. So that means this video, you'll be watching yours truly do a walk and talk, walk through the streets of Los Angeles, California. It's a little bit bumpy, a little bit noisy, but nonetheless, we're on the go, in motion. And the other thing about this video is that it's part of the 100 videos challenge. And that means it's one of 100 videos that I am creating and publishing, putting up to YouTube, and doing all that so that all 100 videos go up in 100 days. Yes, roughly once a day. For 100 days, I publish a video to YouTube, and that's all in an effort so that there's a whole lot of content, a lot of videos out there onto YouTube quickly for you to enjoy and for your benefit, you, my wonderful audience, so that you can be helped along on your personal finance journey. Okay, with all that said, with that quickly covered, let's jump right into today's topic. Today, we're getting right into something of a fundamentals, a little bit of a talk to cover something of the basics because it was directly asked of me, because it's made some headlines lately. Now, what's made some headlines lately? Well, we're 2024, we're in a political year, and with that, there's a lot being covered, of course, in politics, but then it dovetails into finance and economics and other things. And one thing that has caught some people's attention is the stock behind Trump Media and whether it is properly valued. I don't know, some might even say undervalued, but a lot of investors out there would say it is overvalued at its current time. I'm making this video in April of 2024. So yeah, I get asked a lot as to different investments I would make, and one is if I would short the stock, the Trump Media stock. Okay, so I think with that, I should first kind of cover this fundamentals in this discussion, and so that's the whole context and why it's on my brain as to wanting to talk about short selling in general. Now, I won't answer that question of talking about Trump Media stock. I'll kind of let that aside, won't get too much into the politics, won't go too far for various reasons, but just talk about short selling in general and kind of what it is. So here's our agenda here. What it is, why you might want to do it, and what are some potential risks or some things to kind of look out for. Okay, so let's try to cover this quickly to get right into these three items on the agenda. The first, what it is. Okay, so short selling is basically taking a position, taking a short position is where you are betting in terms of the directionality of the stock movement, of the stock price. You are taking a bet that the direction is it for that company, for that valuation, the stock price to go down. Now, this kind of the standard, if there is a standard, if you will, the standard directionality, the bet you could be making as you purchase a stock is really for that. You're going to be betting for that stock to go up in its stock price and in the company's valuation. And so thereby, when you're taking a short position, you're going kind of against the grain. You're doing something of the opposite of that directionality bet. The most common thing that you might hear when people say, oh, investing in the stock market, the only thing you need to know is buy low and sell high. That's very much, of course, a good rule of thumb, a good thing to know. Yes, when you're doing standard buy, hold, and eventually one day sell equity, sell stock kind of that standard, as I said, of betting on the directionality of it going up. But now, of course, you want to do the opposite when holding a short position. You're, at the time of taking a short position, basically borrowing the stock, and in doing so, you have the obligation to sell at that price of which you take that position. And then later on into the future, then you have the obligation to buy back, and thereby sell. You're selling right away, and thereby you sort of buy into the future. Okay, so hopefully that makes it a little clear, a little bit as to the actual mechanics of short selling. And the key thing to know then is just simply the directionality of the bet. You're betting the stock, whatever it is. Again, we've taken out whatever it is you might want to specifically consider. We're just saying in general, with a short position, you're betting that the stock price goes down. Okay, so why you might want to do that is simply you have a lot of conviction, a lot of your thought, your thesis is on the valuation of the company, and thereby coming into the stock price. It is going to go down, and you will pick up potential profits by that delta of a high price of which you first sell at. Remember, you're borrowing the stock in the beginning, so you're selling right away, and then the delta, and then hopefully if all things go well for you, the lower later on price at which you buy. Okay, so that's the why you might want to do that. Now, let's quickly go into what are some of the things to look out for. You could say what are some of the downsides. So taking a short position, you have an uncapped potential for that stock to, of course, climb high, and thereby your downside risk is really uncapped, assuming just a raw short position. Now, there's all kinds of ways to mitigate the risk, to make sure that you protect and basically put in some safeguards if certain events happen. So yes, if in fact a stock climbs to a certain level, that you have a way to get out of that position with only taking a certain amount of loss, if that's the case. All these different things. So there's ways to kind of couple a short position with other strategies to protect the amount of risk that you're taking to kind of cap that. But in its raw form, yes, you are taking on a position that has an uncapped downside, where yes, your losses could go to extreme heights. In the same way, on the other side of that, again, we always say kind of the inverse of a short position is the standard, buying a position, and thereby, in theory, you have uncapped ability to make gains and profits. So it's the same idea. You're just, flipping it into a different, into the different direction there. Okay, so yeah, you gotta understand what you're doing, and yes, have a strategy about it where you're protecting yourself because of that downside risk. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. I covered all this. Again, I didn't want to step into the whole politics of it. It has been something brought up to me. I do answer the questions that are brought to me to the best of my ability. Of course, I don't want to step too much into some of the ugly parts of politics here and there. So I won't get too much into all the things of how there's the political elements to it, but I'm just simply going to leave it there to say, what exactly a short position is, why you're going to be doing it. Let me go ahead and move around. Here we go. Squeeze through. All right. And then, yes, I hope it was also helpful for you to understand What are some of the things to consider? You could say, what are kind of some of the downsides to taking a short position? So hopefully that was clear. And by the way, if there is a huge run-up of the stock, that's what's known as a short squeeze. Let me just throw that in there as an extra little bonus. Short squeeze, and that's where you can really get yourself into trouble, especially, as I said, if you haven't mitigated the risk with coupling a short sale with additional strategies. So yes, all this is related, all this is involved, but I wanted to provide all these elements to it and just provide something of an information for you to consider. All right, so that's my educational video for today. Hope you've enjoyed. Gotta run.